You're sitting in traffic, already 15 minutes late for something that matters, and the car in front of you is going 10 under the limit for no reason you can see. Your jaw tightens. Your hands grip the wheel a little harder, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice says, "This is going to ruin my whole day." If you felt that exact tightening, that sense of the day slipping out of your control before it's even started, you already understand the problem Stoicism was built to solve, 2,000 years before traffic existed. Most people hear the word Stoic and picture something cold, someone who doesn't feel anything, a face that never changes no matter what happens. That's not just wrong. It's almost the opposite of what the philosophy actually teaches. The Stoics weren't trying to feel less. They were trying to see more clearly because they'd noticed something simple and uncomfortable. Most of what ruins your day isn't the event itself. It's the story you automatically tell yourself about the event in the half second before you've even decided to think anything at all. Here's the entire philosophy, reduced to one idea you can use today. Some things are within your control, and some things are not. And almost all of your suffering comes from confusing the two. Your effort is in your control. Your preparation is. Page 4. Read. Rewired. Day 9, August 14th, 2026. In your control. Your response to what happens next is completely in your control. But the traffic, the other driver's decisions, whether your boss is in a good mood, whether the rain shows up on the one day you didn't bring an umbrella, none of that is yours to control, no matter how hard you grip the wheel. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, and it sounds almost too simple to matter, until you actually start applying it and notice how much of your daily stress has been you fighting to control things that were never yours to control in the first place. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than almost anyone in history, and he had more reason than most of us to lose his calm. He wasn't a philosopher with the luxury of a quiet study. He was the emperor of Rome, managing wars on multiple fronts, a plague that killed a huge portion of the empire's population, and constant political betrayal, often all at the same time. And every morning, before he did anything else, he wrote to himself, not for an audience, not for publication, just to remind himself of one thing before the chaos of the day began. Today, he would meet people who were ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, and difficult. And none of that would be a surprise because that's simply what people sometimes are. He wasn't lowering his expectations out of cynicism. He was doing something smarter, deciding in advance what was actually his to control, so that when the difficult moment arrived, it didn't hijack his entire nervous system. He'd already made peace with the category of problem before the specific problem showed up. He wasn't the only one who built a life around this idea, and the other example is arguably even more useful for a beginner because it comes from someone who started with nothing. Epictetus was born into slavery. He had, by any measure, almost no control over his own body or circumstances for most of his early life. And out of that exact situation, he arrived at the version of this philosophy that cuts closest to the bone. You may not control your body, your reputation, your possessions, or what other people do, but you always, completely control your own judgments, your own choices, your own responses. That was true for an enslaved philosopher in the 1st century. And it's true for you sitting in traffic in a car you own, on a road you chose to drive. The circumstances are wildly different. The mechanism he pointed to is identical. This is the part beginners usually miss. Stoicism isn't a philosophy you apply after the chaos hits. It's a philosophy you practice before, so that when chaos hits, you've already done the work. There's a simple 3-part practice built directly from what the ancient Stoics actually did that you can start using today. The first practice is the pause, not a long meditation retreat, just a single breath, taken deliberately in the gap between something happening and you reacting to it. That gap is almost always there, even when it feels like it isn't. The car cuts you off. Before your hands grip the wheel harder, before the words start forming in your head, there's a sliver of time where nothing has happened yet except the event itself. The Stoics believed that sliver of time is where your entire life actually gets decided, moment by moment, because it's the only place you still have a choice. Most people skip straight past it. The practice is simply noticing it's there and taking one breath inside it before you do anything else. The second practice is the question Marcus Aurelius asked himself every morning, adapted for your life. What am I actually in control of here? Not the outcome, not the other person's behavior, not whether the situation is fair. Just, what's mine to do, right now, in this exact moment? In traffic, you're not in control of the other driver. You are in control of whether you spend the next 10 minutes stewing, or whether you use them to breathe and be present in your own car instead of racing ahead into a future that hasn't happened yet. This isn't about pretending the traffic doesn't matter. It's about correctly sorting what's actually yours from what never was, so your energy stops leaking into things it can't change. The same question works at your desk when an email lands wrong, or at the dinner table when a family conversation turns tense. What's mine here, and what was never mine to carry? The third practice has a long name in the old texts, premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization. But the idea is simple enough for anyone to use starting tonight. Before something difficult, spend 30 seconds imagining it going wrong, not to spiral, but to take away its power to surprise you. Marcus did this every single morning with people. You can do it before a hard conversation, a flight, a deadline. Briefly picture the frustrating version of events. Decide in advance that you can handle it, and notice how much smaller the actual event feels when it arrives. Because you already met it once in your head, on your own terms. Here's why this actually works. And it's not just a nice idea. It's a mechanism. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish very well between an actual threat and a perceived one. When you treat traffic, or a difficult email, or an uncomfortable page 5 read, rewired. Day 9, August 14th, 2026. Conversation as an emergency. Your body responds as if it actually is one. Tight chest, racing thoughts. That familiar spiral where one bad moment turns into a bad hour, then a bad day. The dichotomy of control isn't just a philosophical idea. It's a way of interrupting that spiral before it starts, by correctly identifying in real time that the actual emergency, if there even is one, is almost never the thing you think it is. The traffic isn't an emergency. Your unmanaged reaction to it is what turns it into one. It's worth clearing up the two mistakes almost every beginner makes with this philosophy, because they're the reason people quietly give up on it within a week. The first mistake is thinking Stoicism means suppressing what you feel, gritting your teeth and pretending you're fine. It doesn't. The Stoics never asked anyone to stop feeling frustration, grief, or anger. They asked something more precise. Feel it fully, and then choose your next move deliberately, instead of letting the feeling drive the car. There's a difference between a wave passing through you and a wave deciding where you go next. The second mistake is thinking Stoicism means passivity. Sitting back and accepting whatever happens because it's not in my control. That's a misreading. The philosophy asks you to control your effort completely, and it asks you to let go of the outcome, which is not the same thing as not trying. You still show up, prepare, and act fully. You just stop white-knuckling the part that was never yours to grip. Try this today, just once. The next time something goes wrong, something small is fine. You don't need a crisis to practice this. Take the single breath before you react. Ask yourself, in that breath, what's actually yours to control here? If it still feels enormous, spend 30 seconds beforehand imagining the difficult version and deciding you can meet it. You will not become unbothered overnight. That was never the promise. But you will notice the very first time you do this deliberately, that the gap between the event and your reaction to it is wider than you thought. And that gap, used well, is the entire practice. If this is your first real introduction to Stoicism, welcome. There's a lot more of this philosophy broken down simply on this channel every week. Without the jargon, subscribe, and let's keep building the calm you're capable of.